WDCF.com. Remember Spectrum 360, news, politics, and arts from a creative and progressive point of view.
Hey, you new to the area or just want to know about the best hidden gems and upcoming events? Stay tuned. Be Local Buzz with Devin takes you to these places, introduces you to the best businesses, and tells you about upcoming buzz. Preset your radio to TAN Talk 1340 AM or 106.1 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. That is the Be Local Buzz with Devin on TAN Talk 1340 AM and 106 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. Looking forward to speaking with you.
This is the TAN Talk Radio Network.
It's time for the Kelly Show. Kelly is an award-winning photographer and the owner of the website iloveclearwater.com. Doug is the author of 4 published books and a contributing editor for Florida Sportsman magazine. And now, here they are.
Yay, yes indeed, here we are. Monday it is. Have you ever attended a convention? You know, I've been to several, but they've always been statewide affairs. Our guest today attended the recent Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. And that choice of location is no accident, being as how Wisconsin is a swing state.
It's got to be exciting to be there in person rather than just seeing it on TV.
Yeah, absolutely. You turned up my volume for some reason.
All right. Well, I definitely turned up my volume. All right.
All right. We'll just go with it for now anyway. Well, exactly right. Indeed, Clearwater Mayor Bruce Rector had the privilege of attending the convention as a delegate. And just from the TV coverage, you can at least partially appreciate the complexity of organizing a convention on that scale.
I'll bet. From scheduling speakers and in between them, musical groups to decorations and balloons and visual effects. It's 4 days of meticulous planning.
And that must have had thousands of balloons. Thousands of them.
Thousands? I thought they said 100,000.
Probably. Well, that would be it. You know, obviously, interest peaked after the assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life a few days before the convention in Butler, Pennsylvania, to the unveiling of Trump's running mate for vice president. And all that added to the drama.
Absolutely. J.D. Vance, right?
J.D. Vance.
Yeah, I like that they brought in somebody young and handsome.
Yeah.
Nice to look at. Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Ed Davis is the executive producer of the TAN Talk Radio Network and organizes our shows and many others in the cold control room. Ed, what's your take on all the goings-on at the GOP convention last week?
I thought the whole thing was very organized, so, it was kind of entertaining, actually.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be, but it was entertaining and well thought out, well planned, and I think that's what they needed.
Absolutely.
Well, it's the meticulous and the minutia of everything from where you're going to put all of the different delegations, the signage, the security, the food. Can you drink there? Food and drink on the floor? I don't know. I didn't see it.
I don't know. But we're going to find out.
We're going to find out pretty soon about that. But there's so many things going on. And of course, organizing the program. You've got speakers coming on. You can't have a speaker come on and then everybody look around looking for the next thing for 20 minutes. You have to have things going right, butted up to next to each other. So you have a lot of music, bands playing, and then you would intersperse it with different videos and things that would come on between the speakers. So it was a beautifully produced event from top to bottom. We'll be back with Mayor Rector in a few minutes. Did you want to say something?
Do you have a trivia question this week?
That's what I'm about to say. But first, if you can answer this question, which president changed the name of the presidential mountain retreat from Shangri-La to Camp David? The answer right after this.
This is the TAN Talk Radio Network.
In 1955, the law firm now known as Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes made a decision. Instead of taking whatever cases came through their doors, they decided to focus specifically on personal injury. 64 years later, the law firm is one of Clearwater's longest-running personal injury firms. Available 24 hours a day with offices in Clearwater and throughout Tampa Bay, they're ready to put decades of experience to work for you if you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or injured due to someone's negligence or recklessness. If you feel overwhelmed, uncertain, or unsure about your next steps after being involved in an accident or after a loved one sustained serious injuries due to someone else's negligence, call Perinick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes at 727-796-8282 or online at usalaw.com. That's 727-796-8282 or online at usalaw.com. Non-attorney spokesman.
Shop the largest selection of Guy Harvey apparel, artwork, and gift items at GuyHarvey.com. From the world-renowned marine wildlife artist, the Guy Harvey online shop features the latest in performance apparel, classic Guy Harvey t-shirts, decor for every room in your home, exquisite ocean-inspired jewelry, and unique gift items, including custom merchandise not available anyplace else. Browse an extensive catalog of original Guy Harvey works of art and a full range of beautiful reproductions. As with all Guy Harvey merchandise, a percentage of sales benefits the ocean conservation, research, and education work of the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation. The Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation will help ensure that future generations can enjoy and benefit from a well-balanced ocean ecosystem. Bring the undersea world into your everyday life at GuyHarvey.com.
Just about everyone is fascinated by the mafia. Books and movies like The Godfather, Goodfellas, Casino, and many others became bestsellers and box office hits. Did you know that a century ago, mobsters like Al Capone discovered Florida's tropical climate and sparse law enforcement? Mafia bosses from around the nation began setting up illegal operations in Florida. Now, for the first time, a new book titled Sunshine State Mafia, A History of Florida's Mobsters, Hitmen, and Wise Guys provides vivid stories and never-before-seen images of dangerous criminals who settled in Florida full or part-time. Written by renowned author Doug Kelly, Sunshine State Mafia exposes the hidden history of the mob throughout the state and includes Doug's own brushes with crime figures. Sunshine State Mafia is available at all major book retailers, or obtain a signed copy by calling 727-724-4949 or email sunshinestatemafia@gmail.com.
What do the most successful companies have in common? They leverage growth by forming valuable relationships and partnerships. Amplify Clearwater puts you in touch with accomplished business and community leaders that inspires networking and helps you navigate the best courses of action for your company. Become a member and instantly acquire a powerful edge over your competitors by forming strong connections with top business leaders and elected officials. Amplify Clearwater. One community, one chamber, one vision. Contact us at amplifyclearwater.com or call 727-461-0011. That's amplifyclearwater.com. 727-461-0011.
Discover Clearwater like never before with iloveclearwater.com. Whether you're a resident or a visitor, our website is your go-to source for all things Clearwater. Find the best hotels, restaurants, parks, shopping, and events all in one place. Dive into our engaging photos and videos. Explore over 500 informative articles. Visit iloveclearwater.com today and experience the best of Clearwater. iloveclearwater.com, your ultimate guide to Clearwater for fun, sun, and smiles.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hey, thanks for sticking with us here on the Kelly Kelly Show. I'm Doug Kelly, and I'm here with my better 7/8, Kelly Kelly, and Big Ed Davis in the control room. And before the break, I asked a question, a little trivia question, political nature, of course, to blend in with the theme of our show today. See if you know the answer to this. Which president changed the name of the presidential mountain retreat from Shangri-La to Camp David? The answer, Dwight Eisenhower. He changed it to name it after his grandson, David.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it stuck.
I personally like Shangri-La better,
Yeah,
but whatever.
Whatever, it didn't.
Okay.
It stuck.
Our guest today is Clearwater Mayor Bruce Rector. He's deeply involved in Republican politics in Clearwater and Pinellas County, and he has international experience that has shaped his leadership style, passion for community service, and respect for diversity of experiences and opinions. He is an attorney, author, teacher, and has served as a leader for many community organizations. Welcome again.
Great to be here.
Welcome once again, for sure. And you attended something that not a lot of people get a chance to do because it happens every 4 years. And you attended the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin last week. And I guess the first question is, how do you become a delegate?
Well, I've been sitting at home watching the convention for years,
Yeah.
ever since I was in high school, and
Right?
it's one of those things where you're always you're watching on television, wishing that you were there or you would have been there. So 4 years ago, I got invited to go as part of the delegation, and I couldn't make the time commitment, working my calendar or whatever. And then I just remembered the feeling sitting home watching the convention 4 years ago, going,
Oh,
well, I
no.
should have figured that out.
Yeah.
Should have gotten there. So I part of our Pinellas County delegation and our chair of our county party, Adam Ross, who's going to be our new tax collector.
Yep.
Had a conversation with him about joining the county like I did the last time that I got invited to the convention. And this time I said, you know what? I'm not going to miss this. I've got a chance to go.
There you
I'm
go.
going to go. So it's not cheap, the hotel room, all that's expensive and all that. But I decided I was going to make a commitment to do it and take the time off work.
Well, I was going to ask you that. How much of the expenses does the state party cover? None, or
No, you pay.
You pay for all of it.
Yeah, you pay for a fee to attend, just like you registration fee for any other convention, and all your hotel and all that's on you.
Oh,
So you're
wow.
not getting funded by anybody.
I see.
And because the way things are restricted and it's not cheap to do it. But I can tell you that I had a lot of friends at the night of the convention who were doing the same thing that I've done in past conventions. Go, boy, I wish I would have said yes. I wish I would have gotten there,
Yeah.
figured out a way, because it really is a unique experience.
Sure.
The one this year with the candidate, the nominee for
Yes.
president, being a Floridian, it put us in a
Right.
place where it was a special opportunity.
Now, you stayed in the Motel 6, right?
No, we stayed in the Hyatt Regency, and because of President Trump being the presidential candidate, we
Yep.
were within the perimeter, so to speak, as far as security. So unique setup for us, and a unique setup for us to participate in this convention.
And how many were in the Florida delegation?
Between 150 and 200 of us all together.
Pretty good size.
Yeah, and so large delegation. There was probably a dozen from Pinellas County there, and then throughout Tampa Bay, we probably had 20 to 25 from Tampa Bay. So select group of us, and it was great to be a part of that too.
When did you arrive in Milwaukee, and when did you leave? How long was it?
Well, we had a council meeting the first night, Monday night, so I wasn't able to get there till Tuesday morning.
Uh-huh.
And so I took the earliest flight. One of those flights we all take, you schedule them the 5:45 from Tampa International.
Red eye.
And it looks great, on paper. And then you wake up that morning at 3:00 to get over to the airport. You're like, well, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
But that got me there pretty early on Tuesday, and I was able to enjoy that day and the last 3 days of the convention.
I got you.
Okay, so where were you on the floor? Lower left, lower right? Where?
Well, mix of places. I wasn't an actual delegate. I was a guest. So for much of the time, I was on the second tier
Okay.
up above the floor.
Okay.
In some ways, that was a better way to see what was going on.
True.
And then during President Trump's speech, I was actually on the floor. During his speech, I was about 30 feet away from the podium, directly in front of the podium. Florida delegation had a prime seating that
Yeah.
night.
Wow.
And
that's
so
close.
I was really, really close. I was 9 rows back, so I only counted 9 people in between me and the podium that night, directly in my line of sight. And I just thought to myself, the whole world is watching.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
To be only 9 people away from the president while he's giving his
pretty
speech
unique.
it was a rare opportunity.
Yeah.
That's pretty unique for sure. I imagine the security was super, super, super tight.
I'd tell folks that, some folks, particularly after the assassination attempt, are like, oh, well, you feel safe going there? You could not have been in a safer place in the entire world.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many law enforcement professionals in my entire life in one particular area.
Wow.
Folks from Miami, law enforcement, police officers were there.
Wow.
From Boston, New York, all over the country had been flown in, and they were thick. Everywhere you went, there were tons of police officers. And when we would finish at night, there would be a helicopter flying over, surveilling from up above, too.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an incredibly safe place. And you couldn't get into the perimeter unless you had proper credentials. So it was, I'd tell folks it was like being in a small town full of celebrities and influential people. It was an amazing experience, but it was as safe as it could be.
Going into the convention, of course, the big question was who the pick for VP was going to be the vice president. Going in and getting there, was there any inclination it was going to be J.D. Vance? Or did you not know until they rolled it out?
Well, you hear rumors and all, and so, he was one of the names mentioned. A lot of us were really hoping Marco Rubio would be the nominee. What we heard there, whether it was true or not, what any inside information was that there was going to be some gymnastics that needed to take place to have 2 presidents and vice presidents in the same state.
Yeah.
That was going to be troublesome to them, how they're going to have to figure that out. And so that was the biggest thing against Senator Rubio. But I had a chance to speak with Senator Rubio after that. And I think there are some opportunities for him to serve in the next administration should President Trump win.
Well, the next candidate for president could come from the state of Florida again in 4 years.
That's right.
That's true.
DeSantis.
Yeah.
Well, I think Governor DeSantis is clearly lining up to run 4 years.
Yeah.
I know he started a PAC,
Wow.
and I think he intends to keep pursuing that.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, who did you meet? You mentioned DeSantis. Any other names come to mind? Any other people from the media or celebrities or political?
You had a friendly, familiar face, and Hulk Hogan showing up.
Yeah.
I texted him, right, because I know him well. He lives out on Clearwater Beach. A lot of people don't know that, but he really does live, here in our city.
Yeah.
So I texted him before, and I'm pretty sure he was secured, because he was going to have, face-to-face contact with the president, so he wasn't able to step out.
Yeah.
But I saw all kinds of different television celebrities. We just talked about seeing Dana Perino from Fox News up here, and we saw many of.
What was remarkable about Dana Perino?
She's not very tall. She's like really, really short.
She's like 5 feet tall, right?
Yeah. When I was in Kentucky a long time, we used to have a term called jockey height because jockeys are super, super small. She was jockey height. She was very, very small.
Well, they're always sitting down.
Yeah.
They're doing interviews, whatever, and they're on the air. They're always sitting down.
Yeah.
But, Raymond Arroyo, you've seen on Fox News, and just you just be walking, not even in the arena, but just up and down the street, and just, hey, that was so and so. See all these people that you recognize, and not just television personalities, but political leaders too. And running for mayor and serving as mayor, I've gotten over any reluctance to just go up and introduce myself. So some folks are like, I'd leave our group of 3 or 4 as we're walking along. Where'd you go? And I said, well, I just walked up and said hello to such and such. I'm not shy at all, and because it's a secure perimeter, that worked well. Folks were glad to talk with you for a minute.
Being the mayor from Clearwater and being over there, did you take anything out of it coming back here?
Absolutely. One of the things that surprised me was it wasn't just it was more than a national convention, that there was a lot of conversation and politics going on within our Florida delegation. As we all know, Governor DeSantis is termed out here in a couple of years. And so there are a lot of folks, starting to put their name out there. for to be the next governor of Florida, and all kinds of congressional races going on. I was at Ballpark for an event we had for Southern states, and I happened to talk to the chair of the authorization committee for the WRDA Act. They control beach renourishment, the Army Corps of Engineers, a gentleman, Congressman Rouser from North Carolina. I'd met him before, and he and I had a 15-minute talk just about things in general. And then as soon as he walked away, within 10 minutes, Congressman Fleischman from Tennessee, who handles the appropriations for beach renourishment, he walked up. We had a conversation. So there were national connections, but I talked with Congressman Byron Donalds, who was also mentioned for vice president one evening, Senator Rubio, all kinds of connections here in Florida that reminding them that Clearwater's, eager to do great things, and we want to partner with other communities throughout Florida and throughout the country to do them.
I love that you promote Clearwater.
Yeah, sure. Well, Trump's probably walking around bragging that he met Bruce Rector there.
Well, I didn't meet President Trump. But I know, the rumor is Eric Trump's interested in serving the state government here. Yeah. So, we'll see.
Did you see his 6'7" son? Barron?
He wasn't there, right?
I didn't see.
He had a previous engagement he had to decline
Is that right?
as a delegate. But there was plenty of Trump family members there.
Yeah. Quite a few. That's something. Whose speeches did really inspired you? I know there were a ton of speeches, but which ones stick out as being wow?
Yeah, well, some of you know Susan McManus from Tampa, who's been a professor at USF and took policy. She asked me the same question one day, and I told her, for me, when the Gold Star families got up and talked about the loss of their loved one, that was just heart-wrenching to see and to feel their grief. And it reminded me, and I told her that in Clearwater, everywhere, we need to do better at respecting not just the service of our veterans and fallen veterans, but the families. Those families, the heartache that those families are feeling. There's heartache in every family who has a loved one that serves in our military overseas and they don't see him for a long time, particularly kids. So we need to make sure we're supporting our veterans and our active service community, the families that go with them to support. So that was, for me, was a big one. And then the 98-year-old veteran who spoke after that. That was really something to hear him
World War II
talk
veterans,
about and how just for at that age and all that he's experienced, to still have that fighting spirit and still care about the country the way he did.
Yeah. And how if Trump wins the nomination, you'd be willing to re-enlist.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hogan was he was in his typical wrestling mode up there. And when he ripped the shirt, he ripped all but the bottom part. He had to rip it twice. That. But,
I haven't had a chance to talk with him yet. I texted him before and afterwards, but he knocked it out of the park.
Oh, he added color.
He did.
So many people have commented on that.
Yeah.
I even heard somebody say on the media, really, President Trump should have walked out after that and just said, I accept the nomination.
Yeah.
It broke up the monotony is what it did. Usually, I think Trump's granddaughter, when she got up there and gave
that was awesome.
Her side of what the media is saying about her grandfather and everything, I think that was special.
I thought that was the best thing of the whole convention. I really did.
Yeah.
His granddaughter. She was very articulate. She had to be nervous as hell. How old is she? 16?
17,
to have that much poise in front of all that a worldwide television audience. She came through like gangbusters. Really amazing. Without a doubt. So were there any hospitality suites in the evening sponsored by any of the candidates or any of the lobbyists or anything of that nature?
Well, yes, there was a suite. The first floor of the Hyatt had a lobby, and that's where people really hung out the most, was the first floor of the Hyatt. With the Florida delegation, there was either a breakfast or lunch or sometimes an evening party. Wilton Simpson had an evening party. That's where Big and Rich played at. So it I don't think it's any coincidence that folks who are contemplating running for governor
Yeah.
hosted a lunch or an evening party or something to
Exactly.
go with it. So
Exactly.
that's probably where you saw the most politicking. And again, nobody was openly saying, "Hey, I'm running for governor," but
Right.
they were certainly planting the seeds.
Yeah.
So when you first walked into the Hyatt, you were told to look to the left. What did you see?
We'd been passing by for 2 days. Then finally somebody texted me one night while I'm at the convention and says, when you get back to the Hyatt, look to your left, because to get into our hotel, there was one entrance and it was staffed by Secret Service and police officers. And before you go to the metal detector, they said, look to your left. And so I come in that night and I look to the left, and there's a plaque on the wall at the entrance to the Hyatt that said, on this site, on this spot, in 1912, someone attempted to assassinate Theodore Roosevelt.
Isn't
in
that
the same
something?
spot. And none of us had noticed it until
Wow.
then. And the coincidence that it was the Florida Delegation Hotel before what had happened, and chosen long ago before what happened on Saturday,
Right.
was just interesting.
That's stirring, I guess. That really makes you think. So I guess really we're going to come back and talk more about it, but the GOP look like they're pretty united. They even had who was the gal from South Carolina who was running against Trump?
Nikki Haley.
Nikki
Yeah.
Haley. They let her have some space to come up and talk, and I thought that was a great touch. And everything pretty much fell into place in terms of unification. So looks like Kamala Harris is going to be obviously the opponent, and that should be interesting to see how it rolls out. No doubt about it. So, Kel, we're going to
take a short break.
All right.
Let's see if you can answer this question. Who was the only man to be elected twice as vice president and twice as president? The answer when we come back.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
In 1955, the law firm now known as Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes made a decision. Instead of taking whatever cases came through their doors, they decided to focus specifically on personal injury. 64 years later, the law firm is one of Clearwater's longest-running personal injury firms. Available 24 hours a day with offices in Clearwater and throughout Tampa Bay, they're ready to put decades of experience to work for you if you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or injured due to someone's negligence or recklessness. If you feel overwhelmed, uncertain, or unsure about your next steps after being involved in an accident or after a loved one sustained serious injuries due to someone else's negligence, call Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes at 727-796-8282 or online at usalaw.com. That's 727-796-8282 or online at usalaw.com. Non-attorney spokesman.
Shop the largest selection of Guy Harvey apparel, artwork, and gift items at GuyHarvey.com. From the world-renowned marine wildlife artist, the Guy Harvey online shop features the latest in performance apparel, classic Guy Harvey t-shirts, decor for every room in your home, exquisite ocean-inspired jewelry, and unique gift items, including custom merchandise not available anyplace else. Browse an extensive catalog of original Guy Harvey works of art and a full range of beautiful reproductions. As with all Guy Harvey merchandise, a percentage of sales benefits the ocean conservation, research, and education work of the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation. The Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation will help ensure that future generations can enjoy and benefit from a well-balanced ocean ecosystem. Bring the undersea world into your everyday life at GuyHarvey.com.
Just about everyone is fascinated by the mafia. Books and movies like The Godfather, Goodfellas, Casino, and many others became bestsellers and box office hits. Did you know that a century ago, mobsters like Al Capone discovered Florida's tropical climate and sparse law enforcement? Mafia bosses from around the nation began setting up illegal operations in Florida. Now, for the first time, a new book titled Sunshine State Mafia, A History of Florida's Mobsters, Hitmen, and Wise Guys provides vivid stories and never-before-seen images of dangerous criminals who settled in Florida full or part-time. Written by renowned author Doug Kelly, Sunshine State Mafia exposes the hidden history of the mob throughout the state and includes Doug's own brushes with crime figures. Sunshine State Mafia is available at all major book retailers, or obtain a signed copy by calling 727-724-4949 or email sunshinestatemafia@gmail.com.
What do the most successful companies have in common? They leverage growth by forming valuable relationships and partnerships. Amplify Clearwater puts you in touch with accomplished business and community leaders that inspires networking and helps you navigate the best courses of action for your company. Become a member and instantly acquire a powerful edge over your competitors by forming strong connections with top business leaders and elected officials. Amplify Clearwater. One community, one chamber, one vision. Contact us at amplifyclearwater.com or call 727-461-0011. That's amplifyclearwater.com. 727-461-0011.
Discover Clearwater like never before with iloveclearwater.com. Whether you're a resident or a visitor, our website is your go-to source for all things Clearwater. Find the best hotels, restaurants, parks, shopping, and events all in one place. Dive into our engaging photos and videos. Explore over 500 informative articles. Visit iloveclearwater.com today and experience the best of Clearwater. iloveclearwater.com, your ultimate guide to Clearwater for fun, sun, and smiles.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Thanks for listening to the Kelly Kelly Show. I'm Kelly Kelly. I'm here with Doug Kelly, my better half. I can't copy you and say better 7/8. That's just and I'm here with Ed Davis and Clearwater Mayor Bruce Rector. But before we get to continuing our interview with the mayor, Doug asked a question before the break. Who is the only man to be elected twice as vice president and twice as president? I'm going to ask Mayor Rector
Put him on
if
the
he
spot.
might know.
I don't offhand.
Okay.
Oh, give him a hint.
Okay. Give
He
him
also
a hint.
he also
Let's see.
quit once too.
All right.
You can give him a hint.
Didn't have much money when I was a young man. That's why I've been called a very poor president.
am not
A very poor president. Richard Nixon. Richard
See,
Nixon.
I knew I couldn't do
Tricky
it like he
Dick.
does it.
There you go.
I never had much money when I was a young man. That's why I've been
I'm
called
old
a very
enough
poor
to
president.
Okay.
been alive when he was president. I should have known that.
That one's not an easy one. That one not as
Okay.
easy as the other one happened.
We are talking about the Republican National Convention that Mayor Rector attended with the Florida delegation. And did we already talk about food and drink? I don't think we did.
I think we did off the air, but we
Off
can
the
talk
air.
a little bit about on it. Yes, tell us about some of the concerns with the food and drink.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot inside the arena. My other job is I'm general counsel for a sports facilities management company. So I would imagine it was largely because, the perimeter was tightly secured. So to get into that arena to serve food took a lot of screening. And I would assume that they narrowed the staff for that just to sheer efficiency.
Certainly.
So I think that's part of the reason there wasn't a lot of food service there. And alcohol was really hard to find. I found it way down on the first floor, but they just weren't selling it within the arena at all. Now, you go outside the arena, there's a lot of alcohol.
I think it was probably Wednesday or Thursday. I thought, they're having such a good time. I wonder if anybody's liquored up there, And then I actually saw somebody drinking a Mick Ultra on the floor.
You could get it, but you had to work hard for it. Or
Like $25 a can.
Yeah, the sweets around the
$25 a can.
It was like bootlegging to get it in there. Right?
Yeah.
The sweets around the perimeter, they were all full too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do too. And you got a lot of people walking around and slipping and sliding, so there might be some liability concerns there too. But also, you don't want people munching crackers when the president's speaking or what have you. So there's
that
some
makes sense.
decorum questions there, I would think as well. Let's go back on now what's happening with the present situation. As we know, Biden finally withdrew. What was it, Friday?
Sunday night.
Saturday?
Last night.
Yeah.
Yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, yesterday.
Okay.
And that threw everything up in the air in terms of people jockeying to try to get it. There was some talk that Obama was not going to support Kamala Harris, the vice president. The Clintons immediately fell into line behind her. Naturally, the national press is lockstep with Kamala Harris. But still, it's getting in late. And there's some other things we talked about off the air, too, that they're going to have to overcome as a huge challenge to get somebody this late into the game and to win. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that's the biggest challenge. I mean, we talked off the air before we got on.
Yeah.
A year ago, Republican Party, it was a fight. I mean, there are a lot of for Nikki Haley to get up there and give the speech that she gave.
Yeah.
That took time and a lot of healing, and I think that speech, I was more impressed, and a couple of us were up there talking about how's the crowd going to react to her, because there were some hard feelings about how long she hung in.
Right.
Some of the things she said at the end of the primary campaign. So, but that all came around, and reception to her speech was great, and we came away with a unity that is unique for having had such a tough primary. And I think that's probably the biggest challenge for the Democrats is they've got a very short amount of time to rally behind one candidate. And there are bound to be, and you've heard AOC that said, a couple of days ago that, she didn't like all the knives coming out, at Biden and trying to get him off the ticket. And she said a number of Democrats are not sold on Kamala. So we'll see. I think that's their biggest challenge is how do they select a nominee and all get behind a nominee in a very short amount of time.
Well, there was a financial thing too, and that is the Biden-Harris campaign had $200 million at their disposal. If it was someone besides Kamala Harris, they would not be entitled to that $200 million, and they'd have to start from scratch, and that would be really, really tough. I think Trump has more money right now than they do, but certainly if someone had to go back to zero and start, that would put them behind the 8 ball in the fundraising, which of course is very, very important. And there's going to be more fundraisers coming out for both candidates and what have you. But there are still a lot of people, I think, who are, despite knowing that Biden had some mental issues, are not happy that he was kind of pressured to step down. So whether that's going to put a cramp in the unity of the Democrat Party, we'll see. They may put on the facade of a solidarity, or maybe they will have a complete strong campaign. But it's going to be a whole different game, because I think certainly if Biden had stayed in after that first debate, I don't think the second debate would have been any better. It might have been worse. And his polls were like down in the 30s of people who, down to 36%. And it's pretty hard to rise from an approval rate of 36% nationally to win the election. So I think it's kind of Trump's election to lose. It's there for him to win, but you never know.
One of the things that you keep hearing about on the other side is who's the best candidate to beat Trump, whether it's Kamala Harris, whether it's Joe Biden. You don't hear who's the best candidate to get the country going.
Yeah.
And who's best for the country.
Right.
That's what you hear on our side.
Right.
That this is the guy that's going to get us back on track. And that's what, so many things have happened. They even tried to take Trump off the ballot and telling us who we can and cannot vote for.
Yeah.
It's hypocritical. Just like their whole abortion, when you go into the abortion thing, that the Kamala Harris comes in and says, how dare they tell women what they can and cannot have in their body, yet the vaccine didn't matter.
Yeah.
You got the vaccine, you got fired.
Yeah.
But there's so many hypocritical situations on one side and the other. It's just, listen, I just want to get the country back going. I want to be respected around the world again.
Right.
I don't have to worry about going into a stadium and somebody flying something into the stadium. We're crying out loud. And all these people that are coming into the country illegally that we can't keep track of and we have to pay for.
Yeah.
And we have seen nothing yet, because once the money that they're being given for free gets cut off, that's when the crime really hits the roof.
Sure. Exactly.
So we haven't seen anything yet.
Well, I think that's going to be the number one issue Trump's going to use, is that right off the bat, she was assigned taking care of the security of the border. And we all saw how that turned out. I think, of course, the biggest issue on their side is going to be abortion, for sure. Now, the arguments that a woman can do anything she wants with her body is not true. You can't be a prostitute, except in certain places. So there are certain things and laws that do prohibit what people do with their bodies.
I think that's being left up to the states anyway.
Well,
the states gonna be, and we got certain states you can smoke marijuana in where it's legal.
Yeah,
you go across the line, you're gonna go to jail.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly.
It's anybody's guess at this point.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of focus on their side on holding the Senate. That they really, part of the reason for the move was to at least to not drag down the down ballot candidates as much as they were, particularly in states where they need to hold the Senate seat in order to keep the Senate. I think that's a lot of it. And some of it is, I think, by having Kamala in, again, they can use that money for her campaign.
Sure.
If they put somebody else in, then they're going to drag away donor money from these Senate campaigns.
Right.
And I think in some ways it might be that may be their strategy, that just do the best we can, put up somebody different, but let's put our focus on the Senate candidates.
And I think we've been spoiled here in Florida ever since with COVID, and DeSantis is getting us back into the groove of things way ahead of the rest of the country, that our economy has kind of been boosted. So we're not doing the $15 an hour for minimum wage and wrecking half the businesses. But I think the rest of the country needs to catch up what we're doing here. And I think that's exactly what we want to do on this side, is get the rest of the country doing what we're doing here. I mean, we're still feeling it here, but we could be doing better.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah. And how do you think Florida's going to go?
I think Florida is definitely leaning for Trump now. And I think it's, we were even talking about how much time does President Trump and J.D. Vance spend in Florida. Typically we would see during a presidential election year, particularly to get into October, be a television break. There'd be 6 ads for the Democrat candidate and 6 ads for the Republican candidate. I'm not sure you're going to see the same level of advertising here, just because I think these states like Michigan, these other states are going to be the focus in Florida. I wouldn't say they're going to totally give up on it, but I think that they're going to be very strategic about their spend, and I don't know we're going to see the same presence here.
Well, there's a big question mark, too, as well, as far as how good a campaigner Kamala Harris is. You might reflect that 2 years ago, when she ran for president, she was one of the first people to drop out. She did not impress a lot of people. And it may very well be that in the last 2 years, a lot of her staffers have said bad things about her. She hasn't gotten things done that she was supposed to get done. So I think Trump has a good shot at winning the election, but he can also be his own worst enemy. Sometimes he says the things that he really, I think, shouldn't and are out of place. I'm 100% for his policies. I'm just concerned about his persona,
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
an unguided missile.
Yeah, he could step out there at any moment.
He could land anywhere. But that's what a lot of people like about him, too. The fact that he doesn't, she doesn't shoot from the hip, or he does shoot from the hip. He doesn't gloss over things. So
It's just like athletics. I mean, you get way ahead in the game, or you get a lead in the game. You can't play to protect the lead at the same time. You have to play smart.
Yeah,
you have to milk the clock. You have to do those things that hopefully he'll do. But we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm all for what Ed said. Is we got to get back to being number one in the country, in the world again.
Have future conventions been set yet? The site's been set yet? Like they do with Super Bowls?
Not that I know of. I wanted the same thing. Where the next one's at. Because I definitely want to go.
We need to get them down here,
Yeah, for sure.
Somewhere down here.
Well, they had it in Tampa.
Even if it's in Tampa, they can use our beaches,
Yeah.
yeah.
That'd be nice.
They had it at Miami Beach in '68, and
Well, we got some new hotels going up on Clearwater Beach, and
yeah, maybe so.
bring them down.
Yeah, put them on Ybor City.
I love it when they come in. They come. Remember the Super Bowl a couple of centuries ago, but they were all the radio hosts. We're down in Ybor City.
Yeah, Ybor.
Yeah, and we're gonna get one of those gyros.
Yeah. And have some conch chowder. Yeah.
Well, I'd definitely like to get some of the candidates here for rallies between now and Election Day. Again, I don't know with the landscape the way it is nationally and states they feel like they have to win. That's a possibility. But anyway, to at least get a candidate here for a rally, I'd love to see that.
Will you be participating more in the local elections or the national election, or a mix of both?
Mix of both. Yeah, mix of both. But mainly, mainly there are candidates here in Tampa Bay that I'm, particularly Pinellas County, that I'm good friends of mine that I'm supporting.
Adam Ross being one for
Adam didn't have an
unopposed.
opponent, so he's Chris Shear. Chris Shear is a good friend of mine. He's from the county commission and some others.
Good. And let me make a point too. The Democrat convention is going to be in August, and if there is someone from Pinellas who is going to that convention, I would like to have them on the show. Listen to what they have to say about their convention.
Mm-hmm.
Give them their shot too.
Yep.
So we'll definitely do that. So
I think, and to that, I've been a lifelong Republican, so it made sense for me to go. But I'd love to see somebody from Clearwater, Pinellas County, go and participate. It's good for Clearwater to be in that conversation with both parties.
Absolutely.
And good for Tampa Bay.
The left wing and the right wing, all part of the same bird.
Yeah, we're on different teams. We're in the same league,
Yeah.
Different teams with same league,
Yeah.
Same league.
And not to toot my own horn, to have somebody like Mayor Rector who has no inhibition at all, walk up to say hello to anybody, introduce himself. I really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed just saying Clearwater every time.
Yeah,
reminding them, give my card as mayor, because we can't do enough of that. We get a lot of attention for our beaches, but we want people not just across the country but around the world to know the name Clearwater.
That's absolutely correct.
Okay, we're going to do something now, Cal. What are we going to do?
We're going to do our Make a Choice game. Doug and I will mention a list of 2 items, and you choose your favorite of the 2. Are you ready?
I'm ready as I can be.
Here you go. Here you go.
Electoral collage or popular vote?
College.
I like the electoral college.
Yeah.
What did I say? Collage?
Collage, yeah.
Brother.
Collage.
That's a senior moment.
I think I knew what you meant.
One of the reasons for that, too, is that you'll get a state like California where the Democrat will carry the state by 4 million votes. Mm-hmm. And then the Republican will carry another state by 12,000. And the popular vote seems like it's loaded one way or the other. So that has tended to play more in the favor of Republicans.
We met the congresswoman who took Liz Cheney's spot in Wyoming.
Yeah.
And I think she's the only congresswoman for the whole state. I would say it's either her or one or two.
Wyoming, yeah.
She was really impressive. I really liked what she said and how she spoke. But there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we have that, just to give them some a fair say.
Strong mayor or manager council format?
Well, I think I've got a good blend right now with our city manager. She does what she does really well, and I'm out there, as we've talked about, promoting. So when people say strong mayor, I'm a strong mayor.
Yeah.
I'm strong in that I'm out there working hard to make things happen.
You
I'm
sure
not
are.
going to sit and wait for things to come onto my desk. I'm out there making it happen.
And
So,
you're-
Every time I log on to social
Yeah.
media, there you are somewhere else.
so regardless of who, handles the staff, 1,800 employees, whatever that, I mean, I think you can be a strong mayor and have a strong city manager too.
Yeah, you're
Absolutely.
referring to Jennifer Poirier.
Yep.
Yeah.
So whatever. Okay.
Okay. District elections or at-large elections?
I've never been opposed to districts, but I just want to make sure that makes sense for Clearwater.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough
I'm
one.
not, there have been some conversation about how you draw the districts.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And I don't know if we can do that in a way that would be, best for us with the size city we are.
Local police force or county police force.
Oh, those are tough ones.
I think Clearwater is big enough for it to just support its own
And,
police
and
department.
it does a great job.
And
Yeah.
I'm, I don't think we need to make a change.
Yeah. Eric Gandy is the police chief,
Mhm.
doing a great job. Before him, Dan Slaughter did a great job. And I'm happy having a local police force
And
too.
it's not Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, and the sheriff's a
They
friend of
do
mine
well
too.
too.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Mhm.
But for Clearwater, we need our own.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Mail balloting or voting in person at polls?
Well, look, I have voted not by mail, but I've voted by getting my ballot in mail and dropping it off. And I think that for our population, that's the best solution.
I do
Yeah.
that too.
And I'm only age 60, but I like having the time to look at the ballot and think about it. And if there's a race that I don't know either one, to be able to research it, but to have that ballot in front of me while I'm doing it.
Sure.
And a lot of our older citizens, they like that time too.
Sure.
So that's why I like it.
Let me ask you a question. 'Cause you would have a view on this for the national voting day. It's on a Tuesday. What's wrong with having it on us? Because we hear about, well, I got to work. What's wrong with having it on a Saturday? I know people talking about making it a holiday, but then it costs money. It's a paid holiday, whatever. What's wrong with having it on a Saturday?
I agree.
Shouldn't be anything wrong with it. No.
I agree. It's a lot easier for people to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Plurality or majority elections?
I think we need a majority.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I supported the runoff,
Yeah.
which we have here in Clearwater. I mean, we should be making sure that a majority of folks.
Exactly. Kel?
Okay. Candidate forums or candidate debates?
I like the forums better
Mhm.
than the
Less
debates.
contentious, you think, maybe?
Yeah.
I like the debates better because you get to see a little bit more back and forth, but they can get personal,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which is not a good thing,
Okay.
that's for sure. All right, and last but not least, we always say the last one is the toughest one. So you got to really, really think about this hard. You ready? A republic or a monarchy?
Well, I think Republic is.
I would
probably
think
right.
you'd better say that. Absolutely, unless you want to have a king in the mix.
We've done pretty well.
We have.
We have. All right, well, Kel,
Not that we don't have some things,
Yeah, things can be improved
but
upon
we've done pretty well.
unity, but there we go. You
All right.
you want me to read the verse for the week?
well, first, why don't you let's thank Bruce for being here.
Thank you for being here, Bruce.
Yes,
My pleasure. Anytime.
appreciate it.
Mayor Rector from Clearwater.
Yeah, congratulations on having such a great experience there and enlightening us all about it. It sounds like it's just like going to a golf course or the Masters. You see it on TV, but you don't appreciate it unless you're there.
Yeah. And I didn't mention it, but one of the coolest things for me was the balloon drop at the end.
Yeah,
Having all these
Wow, yeah.
thousands of
We
balloons
neglected
falling.
to say
I've got
that.
video, and it was fascinating to be
That's
underneath all
awesome.
those when they're falling.
That's cool.
All right, Cal, give us our verse.
Romans 13:1, let every person be subject to the governing authorities.
Oh, that's nice.
Wait, I'm not done.
Oh.
For there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God.
Beautiful. And on behalf of Ed Davis, Kelly Kelly, and myself, Doug Kelly, as well as Bruce Rector, thanks for listening to us. And please tune in every Monday at the same time and station. And always remember, don't go looking for happiness. Take it with you.
Thanks for listening to the award-winning Kelly Kelly Show on the Tan Talk Radio Network.